here at Gilbo Realty. Today, I'm going to help sellers in the villages get top dollar for your village's home. Now look, these are just basic common sense things that, most realtors know about. But there's some things that I like to do a little bit different than most. Maybe I can throw some advice out to you if you're negotiating with an agent or talking to an agent. Hopefully this presentation will help you maybe get a few more things under your belt so you can come into, when you actually meet with a realtor or even the VLS, you kind of know a little bit more about what you're talking about or what to look for, okay? So top dollar in the villages. Number one, always get a home inspection. I don't care what anybody says. If you're a seller and you're waiting for a buyer to do a home inspection on your house, that home inspector is going to go in there and beat the pants off it, okay? That's what they do. So I recommend that you hire your own home inspector to beat the pants off your house for you. It makes a world of difference. Without a doubt, have one done. So it tells you what could be wrong with the house. That's number one. Number two, stops many buyers from doing their own. It does. It stops many buyers from doing their own home inspection, without a doubt. Number three, it gives you bargaining power even if the buyer does their own home inspection. So a lot of times you do a home inspection on your house. You'll show everybody, hey, I've fixed all these things. This was on the home inspection, and the buyers still want to do it. They don't trust you. It is what it is. It's just today's world. But if their home inspection report comes back and I have our home inspection report, it's going to give us a lot of leverage and a lot of bargaining power. Because if they come up with anything that's ridiculous, out of the norm, I'm going to pull up our home inspection and say, look, our home inspector didn't find any of this stuff. Like, what's going on? Like, why are you showing this stuff? You'd be surprised how often home inspectors can be wrong when it comes to what should or should not be fixed, or even if it should be mentioned on the report. That happens quite a bit. So protect yourself and your investment in your house with your own home inspection. It gives you major bargaining power. Tell the inspector to be thorough. Do not sugarcoat a home inspection. Don't sweet talk the home inspector to come in and just do basic stuff on my house. Hey, don't go in the attic. No. Do a thorough home inspection. Pretend I'm your buyer. Go through my house. Okay? Complete the repairs a home inspector recommends. Now, in a home inspection, there'll be different levels of repairs. Typically, they're highlighted in red. We recommend these, without a doubt. These are next, and these are just minor things you may have to look at sometime in the future. Okay? The red ones you definitely want to get done, the big ones. And the home inspector is going to review the report with you. Complete the repairs, have them done. If you plan on accepting FHA or VA loans, tell the inspector. Have them do the home inspection based on FHA or VA loan standards, because they're a lot more strict than conventional. And if you go through it with an FHA or VA home inspector, it's going to be a lot more thorough, and it's going to help you in a sense of, if I have somebody come in who's an FHA buyer, and I'll show you why that may happen, or a VA buyer, then I already have my home inspection done to that loan, and I can fight anything that they bring up. Okay. Now, some differences between like FHA and a conventional loan home inspection would be, FHA, if you have 3 or more steps, they require a railing. Where FHA, if you have a plug next to a sink or even in the bathroom, they require GFCI outlet. Now, a lot of new homes are built with that anyways, but some of them are not. I mean, some of them can be a pain in the butt, GFCI outlets. And a lot of people do swap them out at some later time. So if you plan on accepting FHA or VA loans, tell the inspector. They'll do that report based on those stricter standards. Now, let me show you here. This is Sumter County, and I looked in Lake County too. They're the same thing. This is the FHA loan limit. So if you have a house around that 550 range, have your home inspection done based on FHA, because this is loan limit. So this is telling us that for a single family home right here, FHA will loan up to that loan amount. So if you have a $500,000 house, you're putting 20% down, no problem. If you had a $600,000 house, you're putting 20 grand down. That's a $580,000 loan. FHA cannot do that loan. Okay, they won't do it. So that's FHA's max loan limit in Sumter County and Lake County. The reason why I'm saying that is if you have a 350 house, $400,000 house, 450, 500, have your home inspection done to VA standards. Other repairs. Make sure doors, windows, garage doors, fans work smoothly, and the remotes work. Replace the batteries. Make sure it's all done. If you don't have a garage door opener for whatever reason, lost them, broken, battery broke, go buy one at Lowe's. You can buy one for 30 bucks. Okay? Fix any light bulbs that are out. You will be surprised how many times, especially this time of year where it gets dark earlier, when I show up to a house, the lights on the front porch aren't working, can't see, can barely get the key out of the box, and I can't see any of the locks to be able to get in the house, and they have 3 different keys. We have no clue which one's what, and we're all stuck in the dark trying to figure out with our flashlights or with our phone lights how to figure out how to get in this house. That happens all the time. Please turn your lights on in your house. Make sure you replace all the light bulbs. Fix any ripped screens, especially the lanai, right, folks? Broken windows, broken screen doors, make sure they're all fixed. That's a big one. Touch up or repaint any chipped or flaking paint. Use neutral color, folks. I'll tell you a story. once had people that are going to list their house, and the wife was away for work, and while she was away, they were going to paint their front room while she was gone. And then when she came back, we were going to sign paperwork, list the house, get everything done. And we came in, and she called me up, and she said, Mark, you gotta come over and look at this. So I came over, I looked at it. Her husband, he's colorblind, painted the room orange. So we kind of laughed, and she's like, had him totally redid it. She went to Home Depot, bought paint, had him redo the whole thing. But it was just hilarious. But you'd be surprised how often that happens. Use neutral colors. Foundation cracking, garage cracking, make sure that stuff's fixed. That's a big one, especially the garage floors. Anything you know the buyer could find and fix. Look, we all know there's some things in our house that the buyer may find if they open a door, swing open a cabinet, pull on a knob. It's definitely leaking sinks, electric plugs don't work that are in the garage or up on a ceiling. Make sure they're working, folks. You know, people are going to find that stuff. You'd be surprised how often people are going to find out what you already know. And anyways, get all those little things that we all know we have done. Big one, clean. That's probably the biggest one. Make sure your house looks good. You walk in, make sure it's clean, clutter-free. That's big. If you can't do it, hire it out. I noticed a lot of people have vaulted ceilings. It's hard to get up there with some dust rags and do the fans and all that stuff. Hire somebody to do all that hard stuff. You can clean the floors, carpets, all that, but it's better for you to hire it out if you can't do it. Landscaping, it's the same thing. If you can't get your landscaping up to par, if you don't live there, you're a snowbird, that's big, right? You got to make sure your landscaping is in tip-top shape. No weeds in the landscaping. Make sure everything's put away. Make sure everything's raked. The weeds are gone. The trees are all trimmed back. Make sure it's nice, okay? Again, you're trying to make it so the buyer can walk in, buy your house, and they don't have to do a lot until next year, okay? Knickknacks, another big one. You'd be surprised how many people love to put stuff on their walls, and I get it. I understand, especially family photos and, whatever else, history that they've gone through, or just stuff they love, they collect. But that stuff puts typically holes in your walls, okay? So if you're the person that screws that stuff into your wall, sometimes I always tell people, look, you have so much stuff in your wall, just leave it alone, okay? But I will tell the other agents, say, look, they have a lot of knick-knack stuff, so when they take all that down, just, prepare your client to know there's going to be a lot of holes in the wall. Do not ever take all that stuff down, take out all the screws, and then patch it and leave it. That is the worst thing you could possibly ever do, okay? You'd be surprised how many times I've gone through our final walkthrough with our client. They took everything off the walls, which we knew was going to happen, but it was worse than we imagined because they had like 2-inch holes they were covering. It was horrendous. So anyways, we had to go get $500 from the seller at closing because it was going to cost them $500 to have this done. It was crazy how it was insane. Anyways, remove excess clutter, wall decor, box up and store it in storage if you have to. If that means you go put it in storage for 30, 90 days, 60 days, whatever. Make sure it's done. We mentioned rates earlier about having your home inspection done FHA or VA. This is the reason why you want to do it, because right now the FHA and VA are the cheaper rates. They're cheaper than conventional at the moment. So if I have 30% down, I'm probably going to go FHA because it waives MIP and PMI. And the rate's cheaper by a quarter point almost. So for me, if I'm selling my house below that, $525,000 mark, I'm going to have my home inspection done to FHA standards, and I'm going to be okay with accepting FHA or VA loans, but they got to be pretty solid. Now, remember, you do not have to accept FHA or VA loans on your house. There is no law demanding you have to do it. Okay, it's not like fair housing or discrimination. There is none of that when it comes to financing. You don't have to accept these type of loans. You can just say, look, conventional or nothing, or cash. But I don't recommend that in today's market, since as you could see here, the cheapest rates are FHA and VA. Price is a big one. And look, I know that it's your house. I've run into a lot of people where this is everything they have. They need to get as much as possible. I understand. I get it. But you got to be realistic. And you got to be aggressive. And if you are aggressive with your pricing, you're going to sell your house faster than someone who's not. Someone who won't listen to their agent about what their home is worth. And don't go with an agent because of price only. So let me give you an example. I just went to a listing appointment 2 weeks ago. And I walked in. It's a beautiful home. It's like 4,000 square feet, finished basement, in-ground pool. It's beautiful. So I said, look, it's a 529 house here in this neighborhood. And it is, all day. And somebody came in and said, I can get you 575. And I won't say who the company was, but they're a major chain. I talked to them about, hey, these are all the comps in your neighborhood in the last 90 days. So where are these people coming up at 575? I would like to see their comps. So what I did, I gave them enough information to go back to that other agent to explain how you came up with that 575 house. What's that 575 figure? They couldn't really come up with it. That's what happens a lot. People just throw numbers out there. They just want the listing. And I leave my stuff behind for my sellers because I want someone else to try to beat what I'm offering them. So I came in, they're going to list with me this summer, and they're ready to go. They're moving to Florida, surprisingly. Their house will sell up here in a heartbeat. So that's half the battle you run into, is that you have a lot of agents out there throwing out numbers, or you have Sally, the neighbor, coming saying, 519, geez, John down the road sold his house for 650. Well, John's house is about 1,000 square foot more. He's got an in-ground pool. He just put in a brand new kitchen. That was $60,000. All that makes a difference. I personally don't care what something is actively listed for. What really matters are sold comps. What things sold for. Because you have a house sitting on the market for 90 days and it hasn't sold, there's no offers, and if there is an offer, it's a low ball, that house is overpriced. I'm not going to use any of that in my pricing. All I care about is what's sold within the last 90 days that are similar homes in the same area. And that's all your agent should be using as well. Don't let them fool you. This is another big one because the VLS has its own separate MLS. And do you use realtors or the VLS? They both have clients. They're both going to bring in extra clients into your house, right? Realtors are more likely to push your home harder, I believe. And the reason being is because they don't have 200 homes right down the road, 20 minutes away, that they're building ready to push out to all the buyers coming into the area. So, and from what I heard, just some feedback, I don't know if it's true, is that the VLS agents tend to push the new homes more than the existing homes. Maybe you guys can post down below if that's true or not, okay? But the VLS may push new homes over yours. They bring a client into your house, they're approved for $600,000. They could easily walk them right down the road to that new home that's brand new, walk in, brand new smell. They could probably customize some stuff and boom, done. Okay? That can happen. Realtors can't show your house in the VLS, so you're going to miss all those buyers that are working with realtors, and we have a lot of buyers. We have 90% of all the buyers. Okay? Realtors will utilize Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, and all the other brokers in the area that have a website that are attached to the MLS. All of us, you'll be able to see every single broker in the area that has a website. Your house will be on their websites, okay? But nothing against the VLS. They have a very good marketing system. Very good marketing system. So they've done an amazing job at promoting that community, promoting the lifestyle of the villages. And I don't think you'd go wrong with either one. It seems the MLS tends to list homes in the older sections a lot more than the VLS. But there is a lot of inventory. Just keep that in mind. So you have to be aggressive on price, no matter who you go with. Be aggressive on price. There is a ton of inventory. With the VLS, it's even more because now you're fighting against new builds they have. Okay. Negotiate commission. Commission has always been negotiable. It always is. There's never been a time where I offered a commission rate to someone where they came back to me and said, well, would you take this? There's never been a time where I think I've said no. Unless it was crazy, where I couldn't make any money. Or I knew that what they were going to list it at was way overpriced and it wasn't going to sell within 6 months. So yeah, commission is always negotiable, no matter what. And I recommend that you negotiate commission. Here's an example of one way you can negotiate commission. One way. Let's say you're my client. I'm going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my commission is 5% if I sell your house within the first 30 days. We get an accepted contract. Within the first 30 days, my commission is 5%. If I don't sell your house within the first 30 days, then I'll take a quarter point off the commission for the next 4 months that I can't sell it. So quarter point, quarter point, quarter point, quarter point for 150 days. I'm going to reduce my commission because that means I didn't probably do my homework. I overpriced this house and you went along with what I told you your home was worth. That's my fault. I should eat the bullet on that. So that's something that I have offered before. I offer that quite a bit. Where I will, if I don't sell it in 30 days, I'll reduce my commission. And what this does, number 3 here, this stops realtors that oversell your home's value. It stops that person from listing homes. Because to be honest with you, that person shouldn't be listing homes anyways, because they're not honest. So this stops those, your house is worth a lot more than that people from listing your house. It cuts through the BS that they offer and get down to the facts. Just to let you know, if any realtor that's not the broker itself they can't really negotiate commission. They have to have approval on most places. Okay, so if my agent's out there and someone says, hey, we list for 4.5, they got to call me. Now, I have a minimum commission rate that they can negotiate down to. Anything below that, they got to call me. That's fair, because I don't want them to lose a listing over a quarter point or a half point. That's stupid. I want my agents to make money. I know my agents do very well at selling houses. They're very good. They care. My agents have all been with me for a long time. And I want them to be aggressive. I don't want to lose a listing to another company over a measly 0.5% or quarter percent. Okay? So definitely, without a doubt, need broker approval. Just keep that in mind if you're negotiating. Don't expect an answer immediately from that agent. So that comes to, don't go with the agent with the lowest commission. Go with somebody who knows how to counter and negotiate it on an offer. Okay? It's so important. You will be surprised how many offers I get in on a really busy listing, how bad some of these offers are. They're just bad. And you'd be surprised over the last 3 years, during 2020, 21, and half of 22, there were so many agents so out of touch with what was going on with the market that they were never going to get their client a house, ever. It wasn't going to happen. That really makes a difference. You have to be in tune with what's going on with the market. And a full-time agent definitely will do that. I'm not saying part-timers aren't really good. There's some really good part-timers. But at the same time, you got to have somebody who knows how to negotiate, knows what's going on with the market, and knows how to counter an offer if they're listing your house. If I get an offer, I'm going to review that thing in and out. I'm going to come back to you and say, look, I recommend this. What do you think? Okay. What do you think of the price? Let's go back at them at this. So those are little things you have to know: how to write up an offer, how to review a contract, and how to properly pick it apart so you can go back and help you get a better price for your house. That's so important. So negotiating commission is really the last one, but the big one really to start is going to be getting your house in order, doing a home inspection. You should be doing a home inspection every single time you sell a house. Now, look, if you're an investor, it's a little different because you probably never lived there. You're renting it out. I get it. But it still never hurts to do a home inspection on a house. It stops that little... You'd be surprised there's people out there, especially realtors. Realtors have that friendly home inspector. Their job, especially if they work for investors, is to go in there and beat the hell out of your house to get the lowest price possible. And if you don't have a good agent to beat back and to counter back and to tell them to go pound salt, you're going to lose out and you're not going to get as much money for your house than you probably could. Okay? So experience matters. But if you have any questions, please post it down below. I hope this helps a little bit. Definitely commission is negotiable. Make sure it happens. If you have any questions, you can always email me, gilborealty@gmail.com. Give us your experience working with the MLS or the VLS. Let us know what you think. And go from there. Because, when you post down below, you're helping everybody else. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon.